back once again with the Tech Clinic Master. Only joking. A big thanks actually to Mr. Oliver Bridgewood for taking over last week in the Tech Clinic. Right, what is the Tech Clinic then? Well, if you've got a problem that needs solving, you leave it down there in the comment section below, and I do my very best in a forthcoming episode to try and solve it. With no further ado, let's crack on. First question in this week comes in from BVDR. Buvda? Dunno. Can I ever replace my press fit bottom bracket with a threaded one? Right, you could, and I have seen these weird little adapters made out of aluminium that press into a press fit bottom bracket shell, and they're threaded, meaning that you could thread an outboard bottom bracket in there, so a traditional threaded one. However, if you're going to do that, it means that those bearings are then further apart, and your integrated axle on a chain set, which most bikes tend to come with these days, isn't going to be long enough to go through it all. And well, it doesn't really serve any purpose, basically. That's what I'm trying to get out there. I know someone who bought some, and they fitted them into their bike only to have to whack them back out and put the standard threaded bottom bracket in. But you could well have a press fit threaded bottom bracket instead. What is that exactly then? Well, I got this one here from Token, landed on my desk just the other day. It's from their Ninja range, and as you can see, it's a press fit bottom bracket here, but it does have a thread here in the middle, so it's got like a joining sleeve, if you like. So you could press those cups in. In fact, you wouldn't even have to. You would just put in through one side of the bottom bracket shell, and then this one in through the other, and you would just thread one into, nearly, there we are. I'm a little bit relaxed today in my surroundings. You would just thread it, and then they would simply press into place. Now, the reason that this has a threaded centre sleeve, for instance, is actually sometimes frames aren't perfectly aligned. They can have misshaped cups leading to creaks. So this is a sort of solution for that. So yeah, you could have a press fit threaded bottom bracket on your bike after all. Next up is Ewan Kirk. Now, Ewan's got a couple of questions. The first one, basically, Ewan is like the rest of us. They don't like to have a noisy bike. And they say, when out of the saddle sprinting or climbing hard, there is an odd pinging noise which comes from the rear wheel. It's almost as if the rear mech is hitting the spokes lightly, but it happens no matter where the rear mech is on the cassette. And the second question, greedy. With deeper rim wheels, I've noticed that the valve stem rattles in the hole. Is there some way of fixing this? Right, okay, part one. I have known of a product that is made by a company called ProLite, and they're kind of like spoke holders or spoke wedges, something like that. They simply slot in between two spokes to stop them rubbing on each other, because that could well be the problem. It's just giving that little pinging noise when you're putting extra tension through them. As far as I know, they're only available for bladed spokes, but they may well be available for round ones too. It could also be that the tension in the spokes just needs to be looked at. Sounds like they're possibly a little bit loose, and that's what's giving that pinging noise, because they're moving around. Maybe the nipples inside of the holes. Part two, when you're saying that about the rattly valves that's probably driving you and everyone in the local area quite crazy as you're riding along. What you could do there is just tape them in place, get some insulation tape, simply put it down over the actual valve and just lock it up against the sidewall of the rim. Really easy, particularly if you've got deep section carbon wheels or aluminium ones. If you're using a traditional box section rim, you could even use that little locking nut that you get within a tube. Most of us throw away. You could use that just to hold it in place. Failing all of this, and the most elegant solution of all, is to get yourself some heat shrink tubing, pre-install it onto the inner tube valve before you fit it into the rim. So get it on there and just use the hairdryer or a heat gun, something like that. Of course, be aware that if you hold it too close to the inner tube, could well melt it, and then put it down in that valve, fit it as normal onto the actual rim. Now, when you're riding along, it may well not stop the valve rattling away totally, as in the actual amount of movement, but that noise will certainly be dulled and relieve you and everybody else of that annoying noise. Next up, we've got Daniel New, who says, hello John, I have a question about some old tech, a Quill Stem. Can you safely, it's my main concern, put some grease on it? Yep, totally fine. I always recommend putting some grease on a Quill Stem where it goes down inside of the steerer column of a fork. Reason being, it's one of the most common bits of a bike that can become cold seized, if you like, or cold welded. That's what we sometimes call it when corrosion starts to occur. Also, people sometimes even used to put it on the handlebar stem to centre of bar clamp interface to try and reduce any creaking there too. Absolutely fine though, go ahead and use it. Next up is Jim Logue, who says, "Hi John, thanks for the show. I'm concerned I could be doing damage to my wheel bearings. The type of turbo trainer I've got is a simple mag one, which clamps the rear wheel in by screwing 2 threaded bolts onto the rear axle of my bike. Is it possible that these could be over-tightened and do damage to the bearings or worse?" Jim, my friend, no, it shouldn't be doing any damage at all, because that clamping force and mechanism is going straight onto the bolts or the quick release skewer, and that's where all of the pressure is being applied, and generally that goes straight through a hollow axle and it's not actually putting any force onto the bearings at all. So you're okay there, mate. I've been using those turbo trainers before the recent wheel off turbos for a long time, and I've never knowingly damaged any wheel bearings. Next up is Garrett Bourne, who says, "Mr. Jonathan Cannings." Oh yeah, using Sunday names now, are we? "I have a C seat post. I know, I should have cleaned it sooner. I'm happy with the height of the saddle and don't plan on shrinking. Is it safe just to let it be, or does the reaction happening in the seat tube weaken the materials?" Right, I don't know how much damage is being done. Also, I don't know what materials we're talking about there, but anything which has happened like that, it could well be doing some damage inside. I would basically be on the safe side here, and I would try and get it out nice and safely and try not to damage any components. That's the best bit of advice I could offer there. Although the best bit of advice really would be keep on top of your maintenance, mate, and it wouldn't have happened. Next up is Stuart Gay, who says, "Hi John, I know you love a gold chain on bikes. Could you recommend one to go on my Shimano 105 R7000 group set I've just got, please?" Right then, Stuart. Firstly, Shimano don't make a gold one, so we've got no options there. So we've got a couple of different brands that totally spring to mind. First of all, first one is KMC. They make gold chains, and also Taya. They make gold chains too. They even make a nice, I think they call it titanium and gold, but I think it's black and gold. But doesn't really make any sense that way, but I'm probably mistaken, so there's nothing to worry about there. Now, the good thing about these chains is that they're compatible across all different group set manufacturers, so you're going to be okay. Now, if you've got 9, 10, 11, or probably even 12, they're going to make a gold one for you. You've got the R7000, so you're 11, you're going to be absolutely sorted with that, my friend. Go ahead, bling that bike up, submit it to the Bike Vault, and who knows, maybe Ollie will ring that bell. Right, we've got Karina Marks, who says, "Hi John, love the show, keep up the good work. Not entering the details why I want to do it, but can I swap at the lever the hydraulic of a Shimano Di2 R785 STI levers attached with Postmates BR R785 disc caliper with a more recent unit? Like the Shimano Ultegra ST R8020 STI levers attached with a flat mount BR R8070 disc caliper. If yes, will everything work fine? Thank you." Yeah, they will work absolutely fine because they all use the mineral oil inside of the hydraulic hoses. And just to double check, I even looked on the Shimano compatibility charts that I draw up and I keep handily underneath my desk. And yeah, it's going to work absolutely fine. Go ahead and do it. And I'm not sure if I want to know why you want to do such a complex bit of kit on that bike, but hey, I like a little challenge, and so do you by the sounds of things. And the final one comes in from Matt Meissner, who says, "John, I'm considering a new second-hand bike, aluminium frame, but the paint is horrible. After the cheap bike to superbike videos, I was thinking of stripping it down and leaving it with a polished aluminium look. Should I spray the frame with a clear coat before use in order to protect it, or is that not needed?" Matt, I'm not sure I'm the best person to ask about painting bikes or anything like that. I've not really had very good success, but hey, I'll give it a go. Right, yeah, a bare aluminium frame is going to look absolutely brilliant. I remember having a GT Zaska back in the early 90s. That looked the dogs, it's got to be said. But something to consider here, make sure you polish that bike as clean and as bright as possible, because yeah, you are going to need to lacquer it. Try and get a 2-part lacquer. So for that, you're going to go and need to speak to someone who actually specialises in this. Yet you can get off-the-shelf cans that do an all right job, but they don't tend to actually work quite as well as a 2-part lacquer. So a 2K lacquer, we like to call it in the paint world, that I'm not actually part of. It gives a more durable finish, and also it just appears slightly better too. One of the reasons for doing this is obviously to protect the frame from any scratches, but also to try and protect it from oxidization, which can happen. Let me know how you get on with that one, buddy, because I love a bare aluminium frame. Remember as well, If you've got a question for the Tech Clinic, get involved in the comment section down below or on all forms of social media using the hashtag AskGCNTech. Right, don't forget to check out the GCN shop at shop.globalcyclingnetwork.com. We've got loads of stuff for you to check out. And also, why not subscribe to the channel and click that little notification icon so you get a bell alerting you each and every time we put a video live. For 2 more absolutely great videos, how about clicking just over here? And for the other one, just over here. See you soon.